Warning, the following video contains spoilers for Season 1 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Proceed at your own risk.
Greetings.
Hi.
Thanks for coming back to the channel if you are a returning viewer or subscriber, and if you are a new viewer, thanks for dropping by. Either way, we appreciate you spending time with our channel. We say that every time, but truly we mean it. I know it might sound rote, but it's true. We do really appreciate it. We're very thankful for all the clicks, all the likes, all the comments, all the watches, all of that stuff. And you're here to watch us react to episode 3 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But before we get to that, we have a few things we'd like to get to before we get to the reaction. These are some of the things that we cover in every video. So if you've watched the videos before and you've sat through these parts, you can fast forward if you feel comfortable. But someone asked us, why do you guys say the same things in every episode at the beginnings and endings? Well, because there might be new viewers and we want everyone to be informed and we want to keep everyone informed. So please bear with us. We really do appreciate it. As always, if you enjoy this video or if you've watched other videos with us or you just are a fan of the channel, which thank you so much, don't forget to
like and subscribe.
Yes, that will help us out. And you can interact with us in a few different ways. If you're watching during the premiere, you can click this little thing to my left, which is screen right. It says show chat. Click on it, it'll drop down the chat, and you can interact with us during the premiere. And how do they do that if they're on a mobile device?
If you are on a smartphone or a tablet, the chat appears directly underneath the video. Drops right down, chat away.
Yes, and of course you can also comment in the comment section. But if you're going to use either of those methods of communication, which we encourage, and again, we do appreciate, we ask that you please be respectful to each other and to us. We don't want things getting ugly on our channel if we can help it.
Right.
In episode 2, Sam and Bucky had a showdown on top of trucks with the Flag Smashers who were stealing vaccines, it looked like. Walker and his partner, Battlestar, grown, invited Sam to be their wingman, and Sam was like, that's offensive, no thanks. There was a lot of tension between those two duos, and Walker actually threatened them, said, stay out of my way, which, not a very Cap thing to do. Sam and Bucky went to the house of Isaiah Bradley, I believe is his full name, and they discovered that he was a super soldier as well. You could tell Sam was very affected by it, and now they are on their way, I guess, to go talk to Baron Zemo, because they need to find out more about Hydra and Hydra's operations. Before we continue to the watching, I think there's a couple of things we should probably address that came up as a result of the last episode. The comment section for that reaction got very busy, and it got busy because I think a lot of people were, I don't want to say upset or offended or disturbed or anything like that, but they were concerned or took issue with the way that I reacted to Sam's choice of giving up the shield. And I think commenters were making assumptions that I don't necessarily think were helpful to any dialogue of any kind. I don't want people thinking that I'm snapping to judgment, that I'm just instantly judging. I take a long time to think about what I watch during the viewing and then after the viewing, and for days and weeks after, I'll think about it, and out of nowhere in the middle of dinner, I'll turn to her and say, hey, you know what I just thought of about that episode? Blah, blah, blah. Like,
he does that.
We discuss things, we break them down. I sit with it for a long time, especially when it involves heavy issues such as race, such as sexism, such as grief. These are things that need to be discussed, and I'm glad that these videos are creating a dialogue. That's very cool, very helpful, and I encourage that. And you'll see in the comments, I've tried to find common ground with people, and I've tried to explain myself or my viewpoints, which honestly I don't feel like I need to, but I do it because I want people to understand each other. I want people to understand where I'm coming from. I have a history that has a lot of darkness in it in many ways. I've experienced racism and discrimination because of the color of my skin, because of my name, because of who I am, because of the relationship that I've chosen to be in because of the fact that we are quote unquote a mixed marriage. So I don't want anyone thinking that, oh, this guy has it easy and, what does he know about struggle and this and that and the other, and he doesn't understand, he doesn't get it. Of course, I can't exactly understand what someone like Sam is going through because I'm not African American. I can never completely understand what someone's plight is from that perspective, and I can never see things entirely from their perspective, especially because it's a fictional character. But I can imagine what it's like, and I can use some of my own background to create an informed stance, an informed sort of choice on how I see things. Again, just like Sam said in the episode, you don't have to, agree with my choice, but you can respect it and understand why I came to that choice. I'm not just brushing off his plight. Please don't think that I am. I would hate for people to think that I haven't considered what that would be like for an African American. I have thought a lot about these things. Having said that, I still think Sam made the wrong choice. I think he should have taken more time. He should have held on to the shield. He could have locked it away somewhere and told him, I don't know where it is. Sorry, Cap gave it to me and then it got misplaced, or just any, I feel like there's a lot of different choices he could have made before he just decided, I'm going to give this away. And the last episode also led to a lot of discussion about, well, Bucky doesn't get where Sam's coming from. Honestly, I don't think that's the case. I think Bucky doesn't get the credit he deserves. Yes, his motivations right now might seem a little selfish in saying, I don't want you to give up the shield because that means Steve was wrong about you. And if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me being a good person, about being able to turn my life around, about etc. Yeah, there's a degree of kind of selfishness to that. But I don't think that Bucky at heart is a selfish person.
No.
If he was, Steve wouldn't have loved him the way he did.
Right.
Bucky wouldn't have said, I'm going with you on this mission.
Right.
That alone, to me, displayed an element of, damn it, you're such a pain in my ass, but I care about you. I'm going with you.
Right.
He does care about Sam, and Sam cares about Bucky. Someone pointed to the discussion in the police interrogation room with a therapist and Sam and Bucky and said, well, why did they say those things? If Bucky cares about Sam, why do they say those things? Well, sometimes when people get heated and get in a tense confrontational moment, they say things that they don't necessarily mean.
They're protecting themselves.
We have had fights where either one of us has said things that we didn't necessarily mean. And of course, later you come to that person and you say, I am sorry. I have no excuse. I shouldn't have said that. I did not mean that.
Right.
Maybe not necessarily as hateful things as I never want to see you again, but you say things that you don't necessarily feel in your heart, especially when you're someone like Bucky. Bucky has a lot of walls.
Yes.
Bucky feels like he doesn't deserve love, like he doesn't deserve trust, like he's so broken that there's no way back to his humanity. That is a heartbreaking place for a person to be in, and I know a little something about that, so please give me some credit. Don't think that there's not more there. Somebody said, well, based on your video, I think that you're thinking this, and it's like, well, yeah, but you do know there's a lot of stuff that ends up on the cutting room floor. I can't include everything. Because literally when we view an episode, it takes us like an hour and a half to view the entire episode. Because we have to pause, we have to reset the cameras, we talk a lot between while we're paused, we discuss things. And I'm not going to include all that because then each video would be 45 minutes long. No one would watch them. As it is, they're already pushing 20, 25 minutes, which is a good amount of time. But I feel like WandaVision and this series deserve that sort of discussion. So again, I encourage the discussion. I encourage the conversation. Just let's try to not jump to conclusions about each other. Let's try to not assume things about each other. Let's try to give each other a little credit before we start discussing things. And it goes for us too. I've tried to display respect and not assume things about the people that are commenting. And I've tried to be polite and say, look, I want to come to an agreement of sorts here. And by and large, I should say, the comments have been very encouraging, very eye-opening, great dialogues, great discussions. Let's just keep it going. Let's just keep it in that vein.
Right. And if you have a question, maybe just ask the question instead of making a statement or assuming XYZ about something.
Right, because we've been through a lot. We've been together over 20 years now.
Right.
So we've seen some stuff, and we've seen stuff inside and outside of our family, inside and outside of our marriage. Our history is littered with bad experiences that are unfortunately set off because of discrimination and racism. So we know a little bit about this stuff. So again, let's just give each other the benefit of the doubt. Having said that, I appreciate you bearing with all of that.
Right.
I think all of that really needed to be said.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I've said it, let's watch episode 3, finally, of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Sing along, the lyrics will be below. We didn't get to do it last time. This is the proud theme for Marvel fans. Cheer for Bucky, Sam, and Spider-Man. Bruce got Declan part, and don't forget the mighty Thor. Carol, Vision, Wanda, let's all shout Excelsior! Let's assemble now, fans, hats off to stand. Enough said, kids.
The Global Repatriation Council knows that for many, it wasn't that easy. So much has changed, helping you back into your homes and jobs. GRC, the Global Repatriation Council.
I'm glad that they're covering this.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
a lesser writer and director would have been like, we don't really need to talk about that. In each episode, they've been giving us a little more information and a little more, insight and a few more glimpses into how it's all working. It's smart writing because there are questions. A lot of the people who have commented have been saying, I want to know more about this. Like, how does this work? What are they doing?
It's very much a mirror to COVID. I mean, it's a little different because we didn't disappear for 5 years, but just kind of reassembling back into society and how everything's going to work again. It's very similar in a lot of ways.
There are definite parallels in WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier to what we're experiencing in society through COVID. I commented on this to her. You didn't see it, even though we talked about it. It didn't make any of the WandaVision videos, but if you look at Wanda's experience living in a bubble, isolated from other people, controlling what she could to keep her family safe, there's a lot of parallels to COVID. And then now this will help you get re-ingratiated with society, and it's smart writing.
Yes.
It's timely, it's topical to what we're experiencing now. The best genre writing throughout history has always been a mirror to our society and ourselves. And this is doing it, and it's really, really smart. And I'm very thankful for it because it's not going to be easy for everyone. And we discussed that in previous videos. And we discussed the whole COVID thing in previous videos, but people really need to know. And I know people that are like, I haven't even thought about that yet. When we brought up the notion that everyone that's going through COVID is experiencing some form of PTSD. It's just some of us are on greater levels of it than others, or some of us are on lower levels than others. Some aren't as affected. Some are tremendously affected, and we need to acknowledge that and be respectful of that and be aware of it. But there are people that I've spoken to who have been like, oh my God, I never even thought about that. And it's like, it's a good thing to think about. We're all grieving in a way for the time lost, the year lost, the jobs lost, the money lost, the people lost. WandaVision covered that. Now they're covering how do we get back to where we were. It's really good writing, no matter what anybody says, because I saw a comment online where someone dismissed this and WandaVision. They said, oh, it's just more Marvel pablum. And I was like, it's not pablum. Like, if you're saying that, it's because you haven't watched it or you've been watching it like this and you're not thinking about it. It's anything but. Sorry for the tangent.
Reset, restore, rebuild.
If that's not timely,
I don't know what
I don't know what is.
Let's move.
Well, were they planning on sitting there?
Oops.
Do you know who I am?
That is a very un-Captain America-like response. The minute you say, don't you know who I am, or do you know who I am, you are the most insufferable, egotistical douchebag in the room. Cap would never say that. Somebody said in the comments as well, they said, well, he's not trying to be Steve. He even said that, I'm not trying to be Steve. We understand that.
Congrats.
We get that. We get that it's a different person, and we get that he's not trying to be the same. But having said that, there are certain ideals that the symbol, the iconography of Captain America must uphold and must aspire to. Egotism is not one of them.
No.
Being physical just because you can be is not one of them. I have real problems with his choices. I've said it before in the other video comments. The choices he's made, the things that he said, and the physicality that he's chosen to employ in many ways is not very much living up to the standard that I think a Captain America of any type should be. Flashing the siren and the lights to get the attention of Bucky and Sam. Someone would say, oh, you're making a big deal out of that. It's not. Blaring a siren to get their attention, you can do better than that. You can make a better choice than that. You can do something that seems...
It's cocky.
It's very cocky, and it's also, you're reminding them of what they just went through. Why would you do that? You know that was an ugly experience for both of them. Mm-hmm. Sam, because he was racially profiled, and Bucky, because he's always going to have this specter looming over his shoulders. Why would you do that to get their attention? This is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. This is why, even though when he's not trying to be Steve, I don't care that he's not trying to be Steve. He should be better than all of this. That's why I have such a huge problem with him.
Is that the point in the writing now?
People have said they're doing this because, we're supposed to not like him. Okay, fine, but he's not doing himself any favors. Again, it's different. I get it, and I understand that it's supposed to be different, and I understand that maybe Bucky and Steve could have been a little more cooperative, but they don't necessarily have to be.
No.
This guy has to prove to the world that he deserves to be who he supposedly is claiming to be. If he continues to make these kind of choices, he's not demonstrating that to anyone.
It's not like you two are known for frolicking in the sun together. I was obsessed with Hydra.
Just wanted to see how the new you reacts to the old words.
Zemo's gonna mess with our minds, especially yours. No offense.
Thanks.
Offense. Look, let me just walk you through a hypothetical.
What did you do?
It's the book you're reading.
Mm-hmm.
Machiavelli.
Oh, Jesus. I don't want to sound patronizing, but that's an interesting reference. Machiavelli was an Italian diplomat and author during the Renaissance era, and he was very well known for his writings. He's basically, in many circles, he's thought of as the father of political machinations and the political process and thought process. Now, the reason I say that is because whenever you watch a film such as Star Wars Episode 3, anyone that uses the term Machiavellian to refer to that film will do it to refer to Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, who became Emperor Palpatine's schemes. They're very underhanded. They're very much anticipating the moves of everyone. They're laying groundwork in ways that you sometimes are not aware of for others to fall into your trap that you've designed so that you can get your way. Again, that's why people call him the father of modern political process. Spoiler alerts. The scheme in The Dark Knight with the Joker wanting to be taken to prison and then everything falling into place because of it. The scheme in Star Trek Into Darkness that Khan wanted to be captured so that, all of these types of schemes are very Machiavellian. So the fact that he's reading that in his cell should serve as a major warning alarm bell to Bucky. Hopefully, Bucky is smart enough to realize that. If he's not, he's in for real problems.
I don't like how casual you're being about this. It's unnatural. Are you and whoa.
Whoa. Hey, what are you doing here?
If I may.
No!
That was a very Riggs and Murtaugh moment. That was awesome. To be fair and to be objective and to show that I'm not simply seeing things from one point of view, Bucky, that was a really bad mistake. if you're trying to garner the trust and respect of Sam, not really the way to do it. Even if Sam doesn't agree with the plan initially, there are ways to get him to eventually come around. Sam is, if nothing else, reasonable, level-headed, and logical. And he would see that, yes, while this is dangerous, this might be our only option left. Really don't like that Bucky did that.
I'm sure this will go fine.
Just a really bad choice. But I love that little moment. That was very
that was
Riggs and Murtaugh-esque.
You don't make a move without our permission. There. Where do we start?
Man. That is Zemo's comic book accurate, pretty much, classic look. The purple mask with the kind of 2 eye holes cut out of it. I just don't see this ending very well. Think of everything that Zemo is responsible for. He basically is responsible for everything that happened in Civil War and the total fracturing of the Avengers. It would be, in my opinion, really bad writing if they turned him into like an ally, because then it's like, well, now everything that happened in that film is completely almost meaningless. I'm not saying people can't be redeemed, but it would be really hard to redeem this guy. And to make the audience be like, okay, he's part of the team now. I'm not saying I hope he does bad stuff, but I just don't see this ending well. So he's evil Bruce Wayne?
Who is Nakajima? You touch that again, I'll kill you. Captures the African American experience.
He's out of line.
America's super soldiers is that we put them on pedestals. They become symbols, icons.
We were just talking about all of this, and again, Steve was flawed, but he was as close to his, untouchably great as they come, despite his many foibles and mistakes. Maybe not many, but humanizing the supposed villain. Nothing's black and white, right? Everything's gray. That's beautiful. What's that smell? Acid? No, that's the city.
Perfect.
Yikes. The art direction of this series is awesome. The settings are a character in and of themselves. Whenever they go to a different place, it's very cool. Very, very well done. Power Broker, comic book fans will recognize that name.
No.
Smiling Tiger, my favorite.
Oh, dear God. Nope. Oh my God.
I kind of doubt that's all very Smiling Tiger-y.
Right.
His physicality.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Sam's like, am I gonna die?
In Love Report, he's Judge, Jury, and Executioner.
Great.
So we'll see you now. You good?
Wow. First... Wow.
That was tense.
Tell us what you know about the super soldier serum, and I give you him.
Thanks a lot, Luke Skywalker. Sorry, that reminds me of Return of the Jedi when Luke says, in exchange for freeing Han Solo, I give you a gift.
Oh.
These droids. And C-3PO's like, what did he say? It's like, that reminds me so much of that.
Yeah.
It's like, Bucky's like, on the inside, wait, that wasn't part of the deal. Really, Sam?
Who's Sam? Kill them.
Oh! Oh my God.
Drop it, Zemo.
Sharon.
Sharon,
You know the whole hero thing is a joke, right? I mean, the way you gave up that.
you help us out, and I'll get your name clear.
That all looks like a nightmare.
The music sounds like a nightmare. Please be secret door. Please be secret door. Yay.
Pretty good beaten stick.
Man, those shield agents are badasses. Oh!
God, that would hurt.
Had blood samples from an American test subject.
Isaiah.
I did what no other scientist since Erskine was able to do. Typical of overpopulation and displacement camps like that.
Jesus Christ.
Damn.
Rhyming.
She is laying people out.
Guys, we're seriously out of time here.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew he was gonna kill him. I'll give it to Daniel Bruhl. He's a very interesting actor, and his performance is really good because he's keeping you guessing the entire time. As an actor, it's hard to walk that tightrope where you're keeping people guessing all the time. It's one of the things that I thought Benedict Cumberbatch did really well in Star Trek Into Darkness. I know there are people who are diehard Trek fans who hate that film. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think there could have been more interesting choices made with the plot, but it's something that he did exceptionally well. He walked that line very expertly, very deftly, and Daniel Bruhl is doing the same thing. It's like you want to trust him, but you're like, I can't, should I trust him? Like he's keeping you guessing. It's a really good performance.
Oh.
Let out some steam, Bennett. Those who are Arnold Schwarzenegger fans will understand why I just made that reference.
It's in one of his movies.
Two of us, and there's 20 of them. Come on.
Let's get into the safety of the open hatch automobile.
Thanks for everything.
Later, I guess.
You're not gonna move your seat up, are you?
No.
Call back to Civil War.
We've got a big problem. Actually, a couple of them. I'll tell you in the car. Let's go.
Yeah.
Have you thought about taking some time for more? Like, we don't have to do this right now.
Yes, we do.
You kind of don't.
It just makes me wonder how many people have to get steamrolled to make way for this hunk of metal. A hunk of metal saved a lot of lives. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should have destroyed it.
That sure represents a lot of things to a lot of people, including me. So before you go and destroy it, I'm going to take it from him myself.
Don't you understand? We're fighting for our lives.
Offers interesting perspective.
There's still people in there.
This is the only language these people understand.
Wow.
Oh man. No.
Too far.
No.
I was wondering when you were going to show up.
I didn't go see more.
Oh,
Man, that was an episode.
things are about to get really, really interesting. Really interesting. A lot happened in that episode. I mean, a lot. The show is definitely living up to, I think, the expectations of the audience, in that a lot of people thought, oh, it's going to be a real globe-hopping, globe-trotting sort of adventure because it's part of the Captain America story.
Right.
And those films were like that in many ways, so it's definitely living up to that. Very interesting what they're doing with the Zemo character.
Yeah.
And very interesting the way they're utilizing Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
Her life is so... I was going to say something when we were watching it, but I was just kind of fascinated by watching her. She's definitely very much not the same Sharon Carter that we knew from before. Whether that was the choice of the writers or the choice of Emily Van Camp saying, I want, something a little more interesting to play, or I don't know, maybe it was a collaboration, whoever's responsible. It's very interesting and fascinating. And even that last scene with her where she said, we have a couple of problems, or whatever she said, that was like,
I was like, what's going on?
Okay, now what does that mean? And who is this person? There's so many threads coming together, and there's so many parts to this story and the story's mechanism that it's getting really fascinating.
Yeah.
There's 3 episodes left. A little bit of social commentary in this one, not a ton, I would say. This one was very much focused on the action and advancing the plot. Sam having that moment, where he recognized, maybe I made a mistake. That's pretty big.
Right.
But then following it up with, maybe I should have just destroyed the shield. It's like, Sam, like,
no,
that's not a better choice.
Right.
There are better decisions to make in regards to the shield. But he's walking his own path. He's having his own journey. I get that. I respect that. Someone pointed out in the comments, it's part of the hero's journey. Yes, we're very familiar with the hero's journey, the call to action, and the path towards realizing your destiny. And so I get that. I understand that this is part of the process. It's just, I'm just a little frustrated because I know that he has it in him, and I know that it's kind of his destiny.
Awesome Captain America.
So, thoughts?
Just like you, there was so much that happened. It was a ton of action. I'm excited to see where it goes. This is one of those episodes where you're like, no, more, because you just want to find out what happens. But I'm excited. I'm very cautious about Zemo.
It's also interesting that, he took the mask. He took the mask out of the backseat of that car because that's a part of who he was. He wasn't ready to leave that behind. That was a very deliberate choice. Then he put it on when he blew up that thing and took those people out as if he needs it to be that person.
Right.
Then he took it off when he's like, all right, guys, here I am with a fancy new car. Maybe he didn't want them to see. Maybe he just wanted a taste of it again, just to remember, yes, this is power. Maybe. This is control. Maybe he relishes the violence. I don't know, but I have a feeling it's not the last we're going to see of that mask. So, let us know what you thought. What did you think of episode 3 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? It's a great show. Again, the acting, I think, is impeccable. The fight choreography, the stunts, the locations, the cinematography, I think it's all exceptional. The music, for me, it's not my favorite score from the MCU, but there are moments that I think really work. And I'm psyched for next week. Hopefully you are excited for next week as well. Hopefully you enjoyed our reaction. Hopefully we weren't too talky or preachy. We wouldn't want to come off that way. We know we talked about a lot of things during this reaction, and we didn't want to come off as, patronizing or preachy or lectury or holier than thou or any of those things. So hopefully we did not. These are topics that we just felt needed to be discussed given the reception to our last few videos and given the topics that are being discussed on this show. So please join us next Wednesday for episode 4 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this video or if you enjoy other videos on the channel, we encourage you to take a look around the channel. There's a lot of other genre-related stuff, and there's some stuff from some of the movies I've participated in behind the scenes and in front of the camera and behind the keyboard as well. So take a look. You might find stuff that you enjoy. Either way, if you enjoy, don't forget to
like and subscribe.
And we thank you so much, as always. Truly means a lot to me. It takes me a while to edit these videos together, so to see that people respond to them favorably, mostly, it's very nice to see. So thank you all very much for that. We appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. The time is well spent. And time spent with you is well spent as well, because you're helping our channel grow, and we really do appreciate that. It means a lot to us. So thank you. Take care of each other so you can take care of yourselves, and vice versa. And we will see you very soon. Thanks. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for returning to, I can't say return. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, and if you... What is wrong with me?
You're fine.
And as always, not as always, and you are here today, I can't say today, and you're here to watch us watch episode 3 of The Falcon, and there's a baby outside that's very excited about
The Falcon
that
and the
episode.
baby.
Let's try that again. And you're here today to watch us watch. One of those days.
We're doing so well too.
Were we? If you're watching the... No. Please just bear with us. We really do appreciate that. That baby is getting...
It's cool.
Let's try it one more time. What are some other things that we have to cover? I've forgotten. Oh, I know what it is.
Okay.
I don't want no, it's just more Marvel. Machiavelli was an Italian author and diplomat. Senator, or wait, what was he called? Supreme Chancellor. Sorry, thank you. And again, people might... Why did I say again? The episode...